My name's Peter Byrne, and I'm the founder and owner of Castle Painting. My aim in all our videos is to teach you about the painting business and how you, as the consumer, can be better educated to buy a paint job, to know what you should look for in the contractor that you hire, and to know what sorts of materials and what things you want to ask and what things that you want to have included in your paint job so that you make sure you're getting the best paint job possible for the money you're spending. In fact, speaking of money, that's the number one question that people want to talk about. They call, they email, they fill in a form on our website, and they want to know how much is it going to cost? And it's a very good question. The only problem with that is it's a little bit like somebody phoning up a car dealership and saying, I want to buy a car. How much is a car? Well, there's a lot of different kinds of cars and they all come at different costs and they have different features. Some are more expensive than others. So selling a paint job is a little bit like selling a car. We need to know what kind of paint job you want. So the more you know about how it works, you'll be prepared for what are the costs involved, and then you can decide, do I want this or do I not want this, and what are the features and what are the things that I want to have included in my paint job. So today I want to talk about interior painting. It's a specific subject. It's different than outside painting, exterior painting. It's a whole other field. Interior painting is really painting the insides of homes and offices and industrial buildings, all kinds of things. But if it has walls, we paint it is our motto. And it is true that the number one thing people want is to paint the walls. That's where you usually change the color. That's what makes the biggest impact in a paint job, is painting walls. So what goes into painting walls? The first thing is the prep work. And prep work means fixing up the walls so that everything is smooth and it's ready to receive the top color coats of paint. So walls get dinged up, they get scuffed, they get stains on them, different things happen over the course of time, and you want to eliminate all of those defects in the wall so that when you paint it, it looks perfect. And that's the goal. The goal is to have a wall that looks perfect and is really pleasing to look at and makes an excellent backdrop to your artwork, to your furniture, all of these things. We want an unobtrusive wall with no defects in it. So the first thing is the prep work, and that involves filling the walls where there's holes, sanding it, and then priming that area so it's ready to paint. So another factor involved is the height of the walls. Most places have walls that are 7 or 8 feet tall. Some places that are more high-end will have 9 or 10-foot walls, and occasionally you run into walls that are 16 feet tall if you have, for instance, a living room in a 2-story home that is open right to the roof, which is a design feature that's common and looks very nice. But it's a lot of work for painting. It's obviously twice as much work. So the height of the walls is a factor. The other thing we need to look at is the color. What sort of colors are we going to use to paint with, and what sort of colors are we starting with? If we start with a very bright color and we're going to a very dull kind of a color, if we went from red to a taupe, that's not so bad. But if we're going from a white wall to a red wall, it can take several coats of paint. And without getting too technical, it really depends on how much tint is in the paint and what kind of tint. The more vibrant the colors are, like pastel colors or very bright colors, primary colors, those have a lot of tint and they don't always cover as well as a white paint. Think of a highlighter where you want to highlight some words on a page versus whiteout. And now you understand the difference between the different types of paint and how much paint it takes, how many times you have to paint a wall before you get an even coat. So those are the main factors, is the condition of the walls, the height of the walls, and the color that we're starting with and the color that we're finishing with. And in a little while, I'm going to talk to you a bit more about painting ceilings, doors, and trim. But that gives you some basic education on the subject of walls. Today, 2024, you're probably looking at something between $3 to $5 per square foot for painting walls. And because there are variables, it's very hard to be more specific than that. With inflation, it just keeps going up all the time in terms of our costs for everything, for insurance, for paint. But you're looking at something like that. And this is why when you call or you email and you want to know how much is it going to cost, the very best thing that we can do is come out and give you a no obligation free estimate. We come out, we look at everything, we measure, we take pictures, and we can give you a very accurate quotation on the job. Okay, so stick with us and we'll be giving you some information on ceiling painting, trim painting, and door painting.